With the brand new Season 7 update, we have a whole new list of buffs and nerfs. I'm actually really excited for this new season because we are finally seeing some real changes to the COD Mobile meta. Of course, like always, I'll be sharing with you guys my top 5 guns of this season, as well as a few honorable mentions. Make sure you guys stick around because I do also share my builds for each and every single one of the guns you will see on this list. Now let's get right into it. Wait, before we continue, a huge thank you to Call of Duty Mobile for sponsoring today's video. Comment down below what is your current favorite off-meta gun that I should try out. Anyways, let's get right back into it. Now, first up on the list at number 5, we have the Odin.
Dropping from the number 3 weapon in the COD Mobile to number 5 because of a few minor buffs and nerfs this season. However, that doesn't mean the gun isn't one of the best assault rifles in COD Mobile right now. Side note, sorry if my voice is like really bad right now. I'm recovering from the flu. But yeah, the Odin is currently the most dominant 2-tapping AR, especially with the Mythic variant. The Mythic Iron Sight, as much as I hate to admit it, is one of the most pay-to-win skins in COD-M. It gives you a very clean red dot iron sight built into the skin, and it really does assist with accuracy, especially on a gun that completely relies on being accurate. When hitting upper body shots, it is a consistent 2-tapping AR, but of course the gun does have a slower rate of fire compared to other ARs. It's slightly inconsistent, which makes the Odin pretty punishing if you're not very accurate. You'll see a lot of pro players and even ranked players using the Odin over fast fire rate ARs because of its consistency and ability to hold down long range power angles. So definitely give the Odin a try if you haven't already.
Now onto the number 4 weapon on the top 5 guns list. We've got the Type 63 Marksman Rifle.
This is currently by far the best marksman we have in COD Mobile. And I'm saying that for both casual ranked players to professional leagues. We've seen countless of professional players in Asia, especially in the CDM, using the Type 63 because of its 2-tapping abilities at basically any range. So a gun that a lot of players like to compare the Type 63 Marksman to is the SKS. So in comparison to the SKS, the Type 63 does have a few attachments to improve on its mobility and the rate of fire, which is why it's slightly ahead. However, similarly, they both are 2-tapping to the body and 1-tap to the head. So for any ratty players that want to be able to hold down power angles and head glitches, while still having the mobility to lurk around, this is definitely the gun for you. The only note I will say is that the Type 63 is still considered a higher skill level weapon to use, especially for beginner players just starting out. It definitely has a slight learning curve in comparison to full auto weapons, but once you get it down, this marksman is incredibly deadly on almost any map. Most of the iron sights for the type on epic and free skins are pretty solid, so you don't necessarily need to spend COD points to get the legendary blueprint to get a good iron sight. So highly recommend the Type 63 for players to try out.
Next up at number 3, we have the DRH.
As much as I hate using this gun, with the brand new changes added with the new update, the DRH received a massive buff. The buff was specifically on the bullet spread accuracy and also the hand multiplier, which basically just means the DRH has been improved on its 3-tapping consistency. The DRH was already one of the top 5 guns in COD Mobile, so honestly I didn't think a buff was really necessary as much as some nerfs would have been better on other weapons on the list. However, I don't think this buff will necessarily make the DRH a standout weapon or considered like the top meta gun in all of multiplayer, but it definitely gives player more of a reason to use it over the Odin. Both because the DRH is now 1, easier to use, and 2, because it's a lot more consistent with the 3-shot from mid to close range if you're hitting upper chest or headshots. And compared to the Odin, the iron sight on legendary or even free DRH blueprints are extremely clean. So, I mean, if you'd rather save some COD points, I'd recommend getting a nice DRH skin over the Mythic Odin. And of course, another thing being the mobility. It's slightly better than the Odin, but at the end of the day, the DRH is still a medium to long range AR. Although you won't be super quick in close range gunfights, it's still a great choice of weapon to use.
Now, before we get into some very good honorable mentions, at the number 2 weapon, we have the VMP.
This is currently my favorite slightly off meta SMG, and for a very good reason. This gun just dropped a few seasons ago and is already challenging the USS-9 for the throne, and honestly, in close range, it might be even scarier. This thing has an extremely fast fire rate and time to kill at close range, especially on tight maps like Nuketown or Summit or even Shoot House. When in the right hands, it could be absolutely insane. The VMP is made for aggressive players who want to take close range in your face gunfights. So if you like running straight into chaos and winning basically every close up gunfight, this is definitely your gun to use. Throw on some stim shots and the right perks and you basically turn into like a sliding bunny hopping movement demon. So yeah, VMP takes the number 2 spot on the top 5 guns list.
All right, for my first honorable mention, surprisingly, we have the HS0405.
All right, for my first honorable mention on the list, surprisingly, it's the HS0405. Yeah, a big shocker. I honestly was a huge hater to the HS in comparison to the KRM. There was just something about the animation that just made me despise using it. It just didn't look right. But if you do follow professional CODM, especially with the recent CDM tournament going on, you will notice almost every single team has a designated shotgun player. And if you notice, the go-to has always been the HS. This shotgun is definitely a higher skill weapon to use, especially if you don't use shotguns like myself. But once you get the hang of it, it's incredible at close to medium range and on almost any close range map. Although it didn't get a buff or nerf this season, I still think the HS is worth a mention in the video for just how dominant of a shotgun it has been in the last few seasons, especially within the pro scene. So if you haven't given it a try, I would highly recommend it on your next Hardpoint Nuketown game.
Next honorable mention is also a surprising one because we have the XM4.
Honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of this AR, but once I saw more comp players using it, I decided to give it a go too. The XM4 is actually incredibly versatile at both medium to long range with decent mobility and 3-tapping potential. The gun has a lot of ammo and it's also just an easy to control recoil weapon. So I'd recommend giving the gun a try regardless if you're a beginner or an advanced player to CODM. I will have to say the default iron sight is definitely not the best, so I'd recommend getting the mythic variant for optimal usage. And plus, I would also like to add that the XM Mythic is actually one of the cooler skins in my opinion.
All right, now my last honorable mention has to go to the Threeline sniper rifle.
Even without attachments, this thing scopes in faster than most players can blink. Like, this thing is nasty. Once you slap on the right build, you've got a fast scoping, one shot to anywhere sniping machine. Literally chest, the leg, even the freaking pinky toe. It's a one shot, one kill sniper. With the right multipliers, you don't even need headshots or body shots, just aim in their general direction. So definitely don't sleep on the new Threeline sniper. Definitely give this one a go and let me know if you guys prefer the new Threeline or still prefer to stick to the Tundra.
Yep, no surprises here. Reigning supreme once again as the #1 gun in COD Mobile, we have of course the USS-9.
Alright, this thing haunts my dreams. The USS-9 has been here for way too long. I mean, patch notes came in, we all basically crossed our fingers and nope, no nerfs, or at least significant ones. If you're playing ranked, expect to get shredded by this thing every single match. It's not a question, it's a guarantee. Ever since the USS-9 dropped, it's been the go-to SMG. No matter how many nerf it takes, it's still super dominant. I mean, the time to kill is absurd, the bullet speed, it's very fast, and there is no balance to this gun. Look, I'll give credit where it's due. Each little nerf feels like we're slowly inching towards a more balanced meta, but honestly, it's going at a very slow rate. And it's not just the USS-9, I do admit there's other things that definitely needs fixing, but let's be real. This gun has definitely been the most dominant meta in CODM history. So drop a like down below if you are also ready to see the USS-9 finally be dethroned.
Anyways, guys, that wraps up my top 5 guns of Season 7 in CODM. Sorry this video took so long to come out. I've been fighting some demons. I've been actually so sick for the last week. Literally went from getting my wisdom teeth out to getting the flu. It's been a crazy month. Literally have not been able to catch a break, but hopefully I'll be back to making more videos and streaming soon. Comment down below what gun you guys think should be on this list and which ones should probably be sent to the Shadow Realm. Catch you guys in the next one.